Definitely thrash. My friendly friends in the YouTube land. Welcome back. Today we got the LANEY AOR 100 Series 2 and the DSL100h. As you guys know, I absolutely love the DSL100h. It's kind of a staple for anybody who has amps in general. It just kind of does the whole gambit of Marshall tones, personally to me. I know that JCM 800s have a certain feel and flow about them, but I have to say, the DSL100h still has that vintage feel to it, where the HR just has more the modern sound to it. This is why I personally like that. So I thought it'd be a good idea to use this amp to compare to the LANEY Series 2 AOR. I think this came out in '91 or so, these amps. So it wasn't an 80's. It's basically the same thing as the 6 knob version. They added a few more things to it. What's cool about it does have the push pulls for the bass, the middle, and a bright cap for the master volume. So using that bright cap definitely helps this amp a lot. I do have my precision drive, so I'll be using this to kind of boost one or the other, so we can have see what it sounds like boosted and stuff, and just kind of see how close these amps really are to each other, if they are, you know, because the LANEY was modeled after the JCM 800 with just a bunch more bits and pieces and mods to it. It really does have, looking at the schematic, it does have that JCM 800 tone stack going on there. So I went through and biased this up a little bit hotter than what it was originally. So this should be a nice good comparison compared to the DSL. So let's do it. All right, I guess what we'll do is we'll start on the crunch mode, and I'll go ahead and tell you, I'm sure you guys seen a lot of these videos where it basically doesn't have a clean channel on this LANEY. This amp is made for distortion, and really made for, not made for it, but it really can get fuzzy. So we'll go through that too, which I don't think the DSL can do. So there's a reason why people like the mods on this guy for doom stuff, which is not my wheelhouse. So we'll see what we can do with it. So let's go ahead and start with the green channel, which is the cleanest channel, and the green channel on there, but I'm engaging the crunch on there. So let's go ahead and see what they sound like, right? Oh, I do also have my Jackson RRX, and it has EMGs in it. So it will be a little more, a hotter output for the guitar. So let's go ahead and hear this. Right now we are on the LANEY. So I've already dialed both of these in the way I like it. So what you're hearing is optimal, I think, for me. And let's go to the DSL. And back to the LANEY again. All right, first impressions. I'm definitely hearing a lot more low-end grunts with the DSL. I do not have the bass knob pulled out because I was playing with the lead channel, and I felt like it sounded a little better with it pushed in. So let's go ahead and pull the bass knob out. there's the body. So I do have the bass around the 3 o'clock or so. So at that point, it could really turn into just a muddy sound. DSL. So I have the gain same for both of the amps. Round 3 o'clock, round 3 o'clock, 4 of them. It sounds like the Laney has a little more gain on tap, which, you know, doing a crunch channel. Laney. It does sound like the Marshall's a little more scooped for sure. And I have the middle turned up to about like 2 o'clock or so. And the middle here is about 1 o'clock. I think the vintage stuff is definitely more geared towards the mids. So they really shine on that kind of a thing. So let's actually do this. There is a pull boost on the middle for the Laney. So let's see what that sounds like. And let's go to the Marshall. It's probably gonna sound really scooped. Laney. Marshall. So I do have the bright cap on the master volume for the Laney. So let's go ahead and turn it off and just show you what it sounds like. Then the Marshall. So the bright cap does a lot of work for this Laney. So I personally like it pulled out all the time. And that it just gives me a good range of where I can actually mess with the EQ and not have to really dime anything. So right now, I want a lot more treble. I can't even get enough. So let's dime the presence. Okay, that actually sounds pretty good. Let's bring that back a little bit. And then for taste, let's bring the treble up. That sounds pretty damn good actually. So let's go to DSL. And back to the Laney. This just sounds like a lot of mids with that pulled out. Which is a great thing. That's that JCM 800 sound for sure. When you boost that up loud, you'll definitely shine through the mix for sure. But for me, I like it pushed in, you know, just that's the range that I like to hear. Back to DSL. Going back and forth between these two, it definitely makes me want a little more mids from this Marshall. So I'll go ahead and push it up a little bit more. See what that sounds like now. Laney. You know, hearing this really makes me want to look into changing the tone stack for the middle on this Marshall, because it's pretty scooped now that I'm hearing the Laney. I'm really liking the clarity of the Laney personally. And going back to the Marshall. Let's go ahead and dime the mids. So that's with them dimed. So going back to Laney. Yeah, I really like the mids on this Laney, man. Let's go about 230. I know I'm not playing a bunch of metal riffs, but this crunch channel thing is kind of a thing. So, all right, I think we spent enough time on that. Let's go ahead and go to the lead channels. Actually, before I do that, let's go ahead and turn on the boost and see what the boost does with that. So I got my precision drive, and what are we at? The volume is not really that high. It's around like 10 o'clock, and the drive is all the way down. So yeah, we're not trying to get face melting metal here, but for this one. So let's try it with it on. Here's the Laney. Let's bring the level up some. Oh, there we go. A little bit of drive. Which I feel like this is what the first iteration of the LANEY AOR is, without the AOR pull, which is the second channel. I don't remember if the first one was a 2-channel or not, but I believe it was a 1-channel. And we're basically doing what that amp does. And boosted, it sounds pretty awesome actually, you know? It's definitely thrash. Let's go to the DSL. Oh, okay. You know, in the comparison videos I've done, I haven't had to push the mids so much on the DSL. And now here in the Laney, I don't know, just because I have it between these two, and this is probably mid-forward because it's vintage, but I'm really wanting more mids out of this guy now. Let's go ahead and dime the preamp on that one. I mean, that's pretty middle territory. It's still thrashy, so it works for that. And go back to the Laney. Let's go ahead and push the preamp volume on that one. It is so thrashy. And it sounds a little too present, so I'm gonna bring the treble back some. Let's pull the master volume bright cap. Okay, now let's go over to the lead channels. I'm only going to use lead 1 because this doesn't have another gain stage on top of the extra gain stage that it already has. So we're going to compare the lead channel gain 1 to the Laney channel 2. So let's go to channel 2. Turn off that. Let's go over to, there we go. All right, make sure my level's all right. Okay, so a quick comparison. Let's do a little bit of chug, right? So the gain here on this, it's halfway and halfway there too, right? So we're kind of apples to apples here, or apples to oranges. And the master volume is pulled. So let's just see what it sounds like without the boost engaged. Let's get a little more volume. All right, let's go to DSL. Let's give it a little more volume. All right. Laney again. I have to say, well, I think these are like 10 years apart. Maybe? I can't remember. I can't remember when the DSL-H came out. I think it's more 2000s, like late 90s or something like that. But you can hear the difference in the progression of distortion for amps. It's really interesting. This is definitely, the Laney's a lot more thrashy to me than DSL. I mean, they both sound awesome. That's the Laney. Here's the DSL. It sounds like the DSL's just got a wider range of sounds on the low ends, but it just sounds a little tighter, where the Laney sounds a little looser. Like more sag to it. I mean, that's what we expect, right? For older amps, they have a lot more sag than these tighter amps that we have today, right? And from what I remember, I think the first channel does affect, it's a cascading gain. So I think that whatever you do with this channel does affect the second one. So let's bring it all the way down. All the way up. It's pretty subtle, but it definitely does something. It just adds that more saturation. Like if I wanted more of a modern tone, I'd bring it back. A little tighter. It's not as loose and saggy sounding. Like your grandma. Now let's go all the way up with the gain. Ooh, it's getting dirty sounding. Now keep in mind, I am using an EMG to kind of tighten things up and push a little bit more output out of it. So that's what we're getting out of this. So that's pretty metal, dude. Like pushing that all the way up. Let's mess with the first gain stage here. Bring it all the way down. Because it does sound like a little too fizzy. But that's why it's great for doom stuff. I don't even know how to play doom. Like, yeah, you can kind of hear the fizziness of it. Let's go ahead and push the both gains all the way up. Yeah, so it's a lot of noise, but you can hear it really starting to fuzz up. And I can see why the doom guys like it. You can just use this amp, push both of the gains all the way up, and you got that like. DSL? Totally different. It's just a very articulate, clean distortion to me. And I'll go ahead and push in the extra gain stage for the DSL and see what that sounds like. Back to the Laney. DSL. Okay, the next thing I want to do is try to get the best metal tone out of this that I can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back the preamp volume on this back to about 4 or so. Let's go back to the Laney and bring this preamp volume back so it doesn't sound so fizzy, and turn on the drive. And I want to bring the attack down just so I get more low end on the precision drive. Yeah, that's sick. I like that. It's still very thrashy, it's still very 90s, it's definitely now a death metal machine to my ears. A little more treble. Let's bring the middle back a little bit. Now it's death metal. And back to the DSL. That's a ton of gain. Like I said, I usually like it on lead 1 just to leave the articulation in and not be so saturated. And the Laney one more time. Alright, there you go. There's a comparison between the Laney AOR Series 2 100 watt compared to DSL100h. What is y'all's thoughts on this? This is definitely 90s and this is definitely the 2000 era. That's what I'm picking up from this. And they're both awesome amps and they fit the eras perfectly. And it's surprisingly that you don't see so many Laneys out there. I would love to get a GH100L on the channel. And I would definitely do a comparison between the Marshall and that. But I'm very surprised with the AORs. I always see these and it's kind of like the amp. You're like, I don't know if I want to, invest in something like that. But I am definitely taken aback by this amp, and if you see one, pick it up, man. It's freaking awesome. Anyways, subscribe, like, and if you got any questions about this, go ahead and hit in the comments or anything you think about this whole situation. But I think that's it. Team D out.